Hi everyone, this is Jeannie Resendez. I am an adult services assistant at the Indian Trails Public Library. Um, I am so excited that you're interested in learning about Google Calendar. It's a really exciting tool, it's a great tool to use to help you schedule. Definitely, it's really nice to have something that's digital that you can have on your smartphone, on your computer, something that you can have with you kind of across different devices and platforms. Some of you may use tablets, um, and so it's just a really great tool. So, with Google Calendar, if you might know, it is a Google product. So, if you can see, the if you start on a general Google homepage, you'll see in the top right corner that there is a Gmail, um, and there's a little kind of nine square cube that gives you links to all of the other Google products. Google has a myriad of applications and services that you can take advantage of, and they have a wealth of knowledge, and really you could just go on and on for quite some time about the different uses. Things that I definitely use most commonly for my personal life is the Google Drive, the Google Photos, Google Keep, Maps, Gmail for my email, and just so many others. But I would have to say those are my absolute go tos during kind of every day. I probably don't go a day I don't use them. So, if you start, you're going to need a Google account. If you have a Google account or a Gmail already that you use for email, that's perfect. Everything that's kind of nice about having a Google account is that it's synced across different platforms, or rather, not different platforms, rather, different uh, Google applications. So if you're logged into your Google account and you open up, let's say, YouTube, you're going to be logged in under your Google account. And so all of that information is saved, it automatically logs you in and gives you access to all of those different applications. So to get started, you're going to go ahead and log into your Google. If you're already logged in, you're going to open up Google Calendar. So something to look here is all of the we're just going to go do an overview of the different buttons and kind of different features that's on Google Calendar, and just take a look at kind of what options that you have. So as we go through, if we start from the top right corner, you'll see that there's still that nice Google Apps button, so that you can just open up your Gmail, your Google Drive, other documents that you need, and you don't have to really try too hard to get to the other Google applications. You can also choose how you view your calendar. You can change it to day, week, view the whole month, year, so you can just get a quick overview of what days land where. And you can change to kind of a 5-day view. A 5-day view is a standard Monday through Friday, but because I have my calendar set to go Monday through Saturday, or rather Monday through Sunday, rather than the traditional Sunday through Monday, you'll see that it says Tuesday through Saturday instead. Next to that button here, you can go ahead and select your settings that we will also kind of go over in just a minute. And you can search your own calendar for key dates, like if you write doctor's appointment or maybe the dentist, you'll be able to find those events or appointments right away. You'll see that the date is located here, and this today button is always going to just take you back to today's date. So today's date is the 27th, so I clicked it and it just kind of brought me back to where I was. But if I want to move forward and look at everything else, it'll stay here until I use kind of this quick button to reset me. Next to that, there is the menu bar, and the menu bar is kind of automatically always open, but if you click these kind of, call it for like a hamburger button, you'll see that it kind of toggles on and off. Underneath, there is the create button. So this is how you can create a new appointment, out of office message, or event. You can see that it is automatically linked to Google's new service called Google Meet. It's very much like we've been very much using Zoom for all of our virtual programming at ITPLD. You'll see that Google's offering something very similar. So you can just add a Google Meet conference. It creates a link automatically. So you can share that with if you're inviting other people for a conference or a quick meeting. They can just click on the appointment or the event and just grab the link from there and log into the Google Video conference. Now, this is not the only way that you can create an event, so we'll get back to that in just a minute. We go through, you can also toggle through the calendar this way, so you can, instead of changing your whole view here, on this mini calendar, you can kind of scroll through really quickly and find the exact day you're looking for. And then on your left, you can search here, meet with. If there's people who you have saved in your contacts, like I do obviously for work purposes, you can search different people and see what their availability is on the calendar and see what things what they're available to do if you both have an open hour, and you can make a meeting that way. You'll have your created calendars. So, here's my personal calendar here. Reminders and tasks. These are all standard calendars that are automatically generated for you when you have a Google Calendar. Other calendars here on the bottom are calendars that are shared with you. So you don't actually own the calendar itself. It's created by somebody else. It's under their My Calendars. And then you've either requested access or they've shared the access with you through a link. And you can go ahead and click the little plus sign next to other calendars. And this is where you can subscribe to a calendar. If you have someone's email address, you can go ahead and click on that. And you can type in their email, and you'll be able to request access to the calendars. Now, those people, it's not automatic. They'd have to approve the request, but it gets sent to them in their email. You can also create a new calendar that's not the standard that's already given to you there. Something that maybe you don't want to have all of your personal appointments listed in your regular calendar. Or maybe you want it specifically for certain projects that you're working on, or you're only sharing it with a certain group of people. That's kind of a really good use for that. And you can also subscribe to calendars. Sometimes other services, let's say Outlook, give links for their calendars. So you can, from a URL, request the access and try to import the events from, let's say, Outlook, or maybe iCloud calendars and such. So, main purpose of Google Calendar is to actually keep track of events and keep track of, however you want to manage or schedule your life. I can kind of give you an overview of what kind of works best for me, but there's really not a wrong or right way to use Google Calendar. You really just do what works best for you. And what works best for me might not be best for everyone. So, like we clicked before, we can click the create button to create a new event, or you can also just click on a day, and it also immediately opens up a new event to create. So, let's see. So this is going to be December 31st. So as we know, that is, excitingly, New Year's Eve. If I toggle on my holidays in the United States, which is an auto-populated Google Calendar feature for you, it will let me know the holiday, but let's say I have a party to go to with my friends. So Vanessa is having an awesome party in the days where I'm hoping that we can go to parties, but we can only hope that COVID is behind us. So here, I'm doing a standard event, and then I can go ahead and add a time. So the time, I would say a reasonable New Year's Eve party would probably start around 8 p.m. and then definitely go until the bare minimum midnight. So let's see. All right, so I'm gonna have a 4-hour party appointment on that day. And so then we can add guests. So if I wanted to invite a friend to this party, it would automatically um, add this to or send them an appointment request to their email. So I could send this also to my other email, my other accounts, and add them there. But let's say I would love to have my, coworker Faye at the party with me. And let me know if she's available, and I can just send the invite, um, which is really nice. And you can also choose to, let them know that their attendance is optional as well. Um, but again, it's not necessary. This is just especially great, especially if you're doing something like a personal party or event. You don't really need to invite other people unless you really just want to make them aware of, something that you're doing. Kind of, again, how you choose to use it. This event does not repeat, so I doubt, Vanessa's going to have another New Year's Eve party next week or the week after that. So there's no need to add a repeat to that calendar. So we will go ahead and just leave it at that. Her New Year's Eve party has nothing to do with Google Meet. I don't need to make a conference for that. And if I just want to say where is it going to be, this feature right here, this little kind of marker that you probably would know is kind of a recognizable icon if you use Google Maps. You can add a location, and it will actually, let's say, try to find an actual place and link it for you and give the full address, and it's going to be saved into the event as well. So let's say it is at the Museum of Science and Industry, and the event description is it's just a party. There's nothing special, but maybe I want to give myself a note, bring soda. If there's anything special you can attach documents to, this is especially helpful if we're doing something like scheduling a meeting with friends and you want to add an agenda, or things like that. Now, I know in your private life, maybe you wouldn't quite make an agenda, but if you have friends that are like mine, and we're definitely librarians, we might actually create one. So you can choose what calendar you want to add it to. You can choose if the availability says busy, so if somebody was to search me to meet up with me, and this left-hand bar here, they would see that at that particular time I'm not available, and would discourage them from trying to make an appointment with me because they know I wouldn't be available to work with them at that time. And then you can also add notifications. This is how you choose what kind of notifications you have. 10 minutes before, I feel like realistically, if I want to remember I'm going to go to a party, I'm going to want to do it like a day before. And then you can also, in the settings, choose how your notifications appear. They can be email notifications, they can be push notifications if you have the Gmail app on your phone or your tablet. And so it comes down as like a little banner. It can like ding if you have your notifications on to have sounds. So it's just really nice because I definitely very much am a person who has a lot going on in my life, and I definitely want an audible and a visible reminder that something is coming up. So we're going to go ahead and save that to my date here, which I went ahead and accidentally changed the day on, so we'll fix that. So yeah, I'm going to a party on New Year's Eve. That is really exciting. I hope that actually happens. All right. So now I have this new event added to my calendar here. Now, let's say I want to go ahead and move this party to a different calendar. I don't want to put it on this calendar. So I'll go ahead and put that on, let's say, a new calendar that I want to create that's not, for work. So let's say I want to add a new calendar, create a new calendar, and I'm just going to say personal stuff. So now if we go back, you'll see on the left-hand side, I now have a new calendar that says personal stuff. You can choose and color set how the events appear. And let's make it a fun color like purple. Okay, so now I'm going to go back to my calendar here, and I want to go ahead and move my party. We're going to edit the event, and we're going to move my party to my personal stuff because I definitely, don't want to put that on my professional calendar when maybe my supervisor wants to schedule a meeting, or my coworker wants to set a meeting to work on a project. That's definitely stuff that it's kind of nice that if you want to kind of compartmentalize your life and also kind of keep your personal and your professional life separate. That's definitely a good option or good idea. So I'm going to save that, and it's going to move over. So if I toggle off my personal my standard calendar, if I click it to personal stuff, you'll see that now that party appears, which is very nice. So other things to look at is kind of the last holdout is the settings on Google Calendar. You can choose the language it's in. There's a myriad of languages. We all know that English is not everyone's preferred or standard language, so there are so many different languages that you can choose from to be able to use the calendar kind of that best suits you. Additionally, you choose kind of where you are in what country. That will change whatever holiday options that are standard, to the region. How you want to show the date. Again, the date is not standard with that month, day, and year format. Other regions might use an alternative format, and the time format as well. You can have the standard, 1 p.m., or you can also do what we call that 24-hour military time. So I don't need a secondary time zone. This probably is very nice for people who maybe work here, but they have to work internationally with other professionals, and obviously they're in different time zones, so they need to be able to kind of flop back and forth between the different time zones to be able to make appropriate appointments. You'll see to update my primary time zone to my current location. If you allow to share your location information with Gmail or Google, then it will say, hey, we see that your new location is in Boston, Massachusetts. Do you want to change the time zone? So that way your calendar is automatically adjusted to reflect the Boston time zone. You can add a world clock. Again, that's probably very useful for people who are, trying to meet and, schedule their time around international settings or events, appointments, people. That's something I don't need. The default 60 minutes, I leave standard. It's definitely unusual for, to have to change the calendar to something less than the standard hour. Not many of us have appointments that maybe are, just 10, 15 minutes or a half an hour. And you can change your settings to make sure that you have the appropriate privacy settings for yourself. Do you want other people to be able to see your calendar? Do you want to give people permission to invite you to events? Do you want, anytime you get an email to your Gmail, do you want that to add the invitation automatically to your calendar? So again, view options. I like to show my weekends because you work in a library. We're pretty much open 24/7. By 24/7, I mean 7 days a week. And I like to work on a Monday through Sunday calendar just because it just reflects how we schedule at work. And I can add the custom view, which was the standard 5 days that I showed you, but you can also change that if you feel like the custom view should always be like 2 weeks or 3 weeks, whatever you feel like is best for you. And you can again change that visibility to reflect yourself, and then you can also enable working hours. So enabling working hours lets people know what times you're anticipated or expecting to work, and if they try to schedule appointments with you outside those hours that you've designated as working hours, then it will say, hey, those aren't within the working hours, and maybe double check what time you're asking this person to have a meeting. If you wanted to have a main work location, this is definitely only because we're using a professional account. That's not something that you would really utilize in your personal life. And again, just having keyboard shortcuts. Like you had the option for on the settings on the main page, you can also manage your calendars settings here under the general. As we kind of scrolled through, we can add calendars from here, import, export, just like we had on the main page, and then you can manage the settings. You can toggle the calendars that show up, like birthdays is a standard calendar that comes with Google Calendar. I don't like to use it. I don't personally, care to use it. So I toggle it off so that I don't have to see it on my main view or my main setting. And I could also do that with the holidays if I wanted to, but sometimes I do just want to like a quick refresher, like, is this a holiday? And have that available to view. So that's kind of a very quick general overview of Google Calendar. If there are kind of any other ideas or exciting things you want to work on with us, let us know. If Google apps are definitely very exciting to you, feel free to provide us feedback. We're very excited. Thank you for spending the time with me today to look at Google Calendar to see if it's something that you're interested in utilizing for your everyday life. And we hope to see you soon at the library. Thanks and have a great day.